A wind of relief blows over the rising tempers of the citizens of Tedville as the outsiders' water fills their cups. Only a few are able to see the impending danger on the horizon. As many get their fill of celebration, others prepare to achieve a more permanent solution and return the flow of safe water before the suffering truly begins. I'm Q, and this is Wasteland Pirate Radio, WPR, bringing you the uncut airwaves from the blasted wastelands.
And welcome back to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice Redacted. This season, utilizing the Powered by the Apocalypse system to tell the stories of the citizens of Tedville and their quest to return the good wets to its good peoples. I'm M, and this season, I'm the Game Master, ruler of our little irradiated world. Before we begin, though, we have an intro question, and today's intro question is, what skill do you think that you would bring to the table in an apocalypse scenario? Like you yourself, your person.
Your flesh body.
Mine is that depending on the area, and therefore I think I'm going to utilize the skill as I could quickly learn the area's plants and like herb identification as for foraging, because I learned it very quick in the Pacific Northwest. It just depends on where I am as far as is that skill utilizable. It's moderately useful here because there are some plants that are very similar, but I would have to pick up the region's plants, but I would pick it up very quick, I think. The other one that I was thinking about is I can make rope and fire from just the plants around me in a forest. I think that that's a good enough skill to rely on. I can make rope and fire, at least to begin a situation. If I come across a community that's already in full effect, I don't know how useful rope and fire is, but I feel like on like a team of 4 leaving out into the waste or something, making rope and fire is a fucking important skill. So yeah, that's the skill I think I bring to a table. Well versed as a naturalman.
Is that a word?
It is now.
It is now.
Beat you to it. Haha, I got you, Mike.
No, I just try to muddle over the word man at the end of almost every title. I just go for mun. So it's like the title of the thing, you know? Naturalman.
Naturalman.
Yeah, that way it's not natural man. I'm not a natural man, I'm a naturalman.
It's me, Natural Man.
It's me, natural man. Yeah, exactly.
Here to cast aside the cities and the urban environment.
And here is our first playerman, Theodore Stringer, player of Dill, general weird guy. As far as what I myself bring to the apocalypse, it's really dependent whether it is just me by myself or whether I am accompanied by all of the belongings that I have. Because I think if I have my resources, I have curated for myself a room-filled library, and a good chunk of that is nonfiction. And a lot of that nonfiction could possibly be useful in the apocalypse. I also have a media library, so if there's power, I can entertain the masses forever. 5 ever, even.
5 ever.
It's true, it's true.
And also, fiction would be good too, not just nonfiction, but like, apocalypse sounds boring.
Right.
Like, give me Gregor, give me Aragon, get me out of here.
I've got the whole caboodle in my special room.
It's true.
Shelves on shelves on shelves. And so I could bring that to the apocalypse. It is, though, paper. And paper does burn. And burning is a thing that happens a lot in the apocalypse, so it could just be me and my meat body coming in to join the party.
You can cook, dude. You're a good cook. You know a lot about cooking and baking.
I can cook. Here's the thing is, I think I'm gonna go with the fact that I'm pretty smart. I can figure stuff out pretty quick. It's as sort of a one-track intelligence, but if I can focus it on the problems of the apocalypse, I can be very useful. If I can't, I'll probably just die. Either way, my apocalypse problem's been solved.
That's true, that's true. You're not challenged by the apocalypse anymore if you just aren't alive.
No more apocalypse for me if I just am not alive. It's, fixed.
I asked Kenna what her skill would be in the apocalypse, and she said I wouldn't have to worry about it because I would jump off of a building. And I was like, well, you're not playing the game. Then I thought like, well, that actually is playing the game super well because you've chosen to not bring a skill to the table. I'm not going to sit down at the
I've
table.
evaluated myself, and I find myself lacking.
Let's see how long it takes for you to solve the apocalypse, because I've just solved it for myself instantly.
Yeah, right. A very valid answer.
My name is Lawrence, and I play the Deluca's Chophouse answering machine. No flesh here, only expertise and a wonderful companionship of a waiter. As far as skills that I would bring to the apocalypse, I would say good vibes. I would say an overall positive attitude. I would say unshakable optimism. But as far as like tangible skills, not much of anything. I'm not very picky. I'll just eat whatever. That's probably good in the apocalypse.
Agree with unshakable optimism. That's an important, I don't know if it's like a trainable skill, but it is a thing that you excel at for sure. Even in like aggressive and stressful moments, you're just like, well, yeah, that is what it is.
I'm really lucky. I mean, that might come up. Who knows? That's all I've got, guys.
I'm really lucky and I'm very optimistic. I think honestly though, everyone needs a little positivity.
I just have to find the most powerful warlord, and then I'll become his clown.
A jester? That's your skill? I jest.
I'll be a
I
clown.
do actually think that there is something to that.
There's a reason they exist.
Comedic relief is necessary.
Lord's People is pretty well via comedy, and that's not a bad way. That's not a bad way to survive.
If you're good at the charisma portion of it, like, and it could be utilized as a weapon or like as a skill, but also like it's more of a you skill, how you survive, what you bring to your own side table, and I love that.
And I guess that turns it over to me, and I am Mike, and I am the third playerman, and I play Spicket, the water bearer. What I would bring to the apocalypse is also charisma-based. As my partner loves to say, everybody loves Big Mike. I am a people person, and people tend to listen to what I have to say, and it doesn't hurt that I have a large presence, so, there's some perceived authority with that. Not any real authority, but...
It could be factually said that most people look up to Mike.
You and Lawrence haven't met Mike in person.
Man is big and tall.
Almost everybody looks up to Mike.
Yeah.
The first time I met him in person, I peed myself.
Literally, yeah.
That is a true fact. I did, in fact, piss my pantaloons when I first met Mike. But I was like 3, so...
He made it. Okay, you should introduce yourself as I'm Mike and I make 3-year-olds piss themselves. I'm playing.
He did also, pick me up, I'm pretty sure.
I did pick you up after, a 12-hour
Oh, yeah, giant
drive.
lifting me, I'd lose my entire bowel structure for sure, dude.
Oh, man. Strange, loud giant picking me up.
Yeah.
But it's apparently, not apparently, but it is a skill. The strange, loud, apparently jolly giant that brings everyone together.
The BFG.
The BFG.
So that's
I
it.
didn't mean to
And-
interrupt, yeah.
No, it's all good. And I almost texted you on our anniversary earlier this month to share that memory, but I totally forgot.
On our P anniversary.
Yeah.
That is adorable. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as your anniversary, but still. I suppose that leaves it to me. I am Grace, the last table woman, or only table woman. And I also play the only girl, Petal. Technically, my playbook is no one, so I am nobody. Call me Odysseus.
Your name is Petal.
I know, it was a little, Iliad, Odyssey reference. It didn't work.
I got it.
Thanks, Gabe.
It was funny.
You didn't laugh.
Yeah, because I was over there.
It was over there.
Anyway, part of me wants to fall in the same line as Mike because it became a joke. It was a joke, but then it kind of became a more of a thing, and I like to claim that I have a superpower where I can get most people to like me,
It's weirdly true.
which I think would be good to have to have in my back pocket. It's always good to be liked amongst people during the apocalypse. The second thought that came to my mind, though, I think is kind of like yours, that it kind of relies on where we are and what the resources are. Because if there were any kind of livestock caretaking of those sorts of things, I have taken care of horses for several years now, and I think that I could easily adapt to sheep, pigs, chickens. I mean, I've taken care of chickens, but goats, whatever the creature it may be, llamas, cows, I think that I could adapt really well to move from equine to other kind, to bovine or whatever. I think I could transfer my horse knowledge over to that pretty easily.
Yeah, a little nudge.
Animal husbandry is a good skill.
Thank you. In real reality, if the apocalypse were to happen, like, my boyfriend recently asked me what I would do because of the recent second season of The Last of Us, or whatever it's called.
No spoilers.
Animal husbandry is huge this season.
But he asked me what I would do, and the same reason I said, oh, I would just kill myself. That would be my honest answer in the apocalypse, because I just,
Don't want to, don't have to. Won't.
Don't want to, don't have to. And I also couldn't bear to see my animals suffer. I don't think I could handle that.
Do you just partake in the rearing and raising of the animals, or do you also partake in butchering of the animals?
Processing.
Slaughtering?
Culling.
Culling is where we get more direct into what we're doing. But yeah. Do you think you would be a part of that, or are you just part of the I raise the livestock and then I pass them off to James the butcher or Kina the butcher?
Yeah, I think the apocalypse hardens all people. I think maybe in time I could maybe go over and do that part, or at least maybe handle things after they've already died, but I do not think I myself could kill the animal even if I was hardened in the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's not a current grace situation.
Yeah, I can't say now what I would do. I think I could based on situations, but as of right now, I think I could probably handle the dead animal and raise the live animal, but I don't think I could kill the animal or watch. Unless, of course, who knows? Who knows what's happened to Apocalypse Grace?
Right. I think that at some point there may be a hardening that comes along with that, but current grace thrust into the apocalypse, no, not so much.
But in a Last of Us situation with a zombie kind of apocalypse, oh no, I'm killing myself.
I'm gone.
That's the best one, though. You can fight those.
What? No, I don't want to do that.
Not to bring it back to last week, but still, that's the best one.
No way.
No,
that's
no
one of the worst ones. That is an active hunting threat.
Zombie apocalypse, 10 out of 10 would totally recommend.
What are you gonna do? Fight a nuclear apocalypse? Come on. That's just dusty and sad.
6 out of 10, maybe.
6 out of 10.
I'm interested in it because I think it's probably my most. I do think I am athletic enough. I don't think I would want it ever, but I'm just saying that I think I could last long enough. I could get out of the city before it got bad.
I don't know. I'm small and weak. I don't think I'd make it.
I think I could get set up. I would lose because I want to inherently trust everyone, and then I would get killed pretty quick by someone who wanted to lie to me.
I'm not very strong physically. I don't have a gun.
I'm strong once, but long-term fragile.
Glass cannon.
Well, I'm long-term fragile, strong one time.
So I have to rely on my mental stats.
Yeah.
I have one burnable point, and I have to keep it until I need it. It's only burnable once forever.
Yeah, all my stats are in charisma.
I have one good sprint in me, and after that, that's it. Then I have to lie down.
My legs will break and never work again.
You haven't seen me try.
Yeah, all my stats are in charisma and maybe 4 in strength. But you can't charm a zombie.
It depends on the zombie.
I guess if this is a warm body situation, then sure.
One of my favorites. I love it. So goofy. One of my favorites.
How did the zombies win in that movie?
We're gonna do some session end stuff from last time, and the session end is pretty quick as follows. We'll just go in character in our order. You each are going to choose one character that knows you better than they used to at the start of this session right now. Tell that player to add +1 to their history with you. If it brings you to +4, we'll talk about it. If there isn't one that knows you better than they used to, you get to pick someone, and that person marks a -1 with you. If it brings them to -3, we'll talk about it. Dill, is there someone that knows you better than they used to?
I know that other guy better.
I feel like I could say that everyone knows Dill better after what went down last session. But since Petal knew Dill the least, Petal probably learned the most.
It's true.
That's true.
I'm learning all sorts of things. I've only been here for a little bit.
Okay, Petal, add +1 to your history with Dill.
History.
That's HX.
So if I have -1, am I just at 0 then?
Correct. And now whenever you roll history with Dill, you're a little bit better.
Not negative.
Yeah, you're not negative. Lawrence.
I feel similarly. I think similar situation. Petal has the most to learn, and we had probably our first interaction ever.
Hell yeah. Look at me getting all the pluses.
Fair, so they've learned everything comparative to nothing.
Getting stacked. Way to go.
So another +1 Petal for your history with D-Ham.
With Dehan, it looks like you've put in parentheses he doesn't, and then it stops. He doesn't what?
I didn't.
Oh,
I haven't touched that.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
maybe I didn't.
Maybe that's he doesn't know how to read. Is that true? I feel like from session 1, I feel like someone saying that he can't read something, and so someone will have to read it for him.
Oh, Dehan doesn't know how to read?
Yeah, I don't think I can read.
He can't read. I think that was it. I think that might have been what that sentence was about to write for some reason.
I've never had to.
Doesn't need to know how to read, doesn't know how to read. But now you have a +2 with D-Ham.
Never had to.
If you get to a +4 with anyone, we'll talk.
You tell me what's on the menu and I'll remember it.
Mike, who knows Spicket better than they used to?
Well, Petal and I spent most of the episode together.
Oh yeah, give me.
I don't think there was anything new or unusual, but
Well, I met that lady.
you did at Fontaine. So I guess you did see a different side of his relationship with the water bearers. So I would say that you now understand my history a little bit better than you did prior. So
Damn, she said, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Gimme, gimme.
Pedal hungy.
all right, we'll go.
Hungy for
Yeah.
point.
All right.
Petal
There
is
we go.
hungry.
Petal is now. I've got history +3.
Yeah, all the pluses.
Me too.
Can't be you. Although you may know.
I've learned
yourself,
so much
you
about
can't pick
myself.
you.
+1 to Petal. Thank
Is
you
there
very much.
+1 to Petal? New section, huh? Interesting.
You have to know oneself in order to know others, you know? And I am no one.
Could thine own self be true? Is that what you're trying to sell us?
Maybe. I mean, I learn more about myself every vision I have, but I don't know who I am. I feel like that could be. I could.
You can't pick you. You have to pick someone else.
Damn it. Okay, fine. Learned something new about me.
Yeah, who knows you better than they did before? And if it's no one, then you get to pick someone to mark -1 to because they don't know as much as they thought they did about you.
You did witness Dill's rage.
It's true.
Well, you know more about
The
Dill,
hunger.
but that doesn't teach Dill more about
That is true.
You.
That is true.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't done. I mean, I've taught Fontaine, I guess, but I didn't really. I don't think anyone else has seen anything besides her.
I did witness your trippy vision when you looked at the mall flyer,
Oh, that is true. You did notice that.
and you told me a little bit about the mall.
I mean, I'd say that you might know that she's stronger than she initially like. Sure, she knew about the machine, and that was pretty interesting right away. But all she's done is really work on the machine and get food like when she needs to.
Right.
The fact that she can just stand up to Fontaine feels like knowledge gained.
Yeah.
Handing out negatives is also interesting.
Handing out negatives is interesting too.
I don't know. I think I will give Spigot the +1 because standing up to a high member of authority and not just following what everyone else is doing, showing reverence, I think tells you a bit more about somebody, even if they're not telling you about their spacing out. I don't know. I think that says a lot about Petal's, resilience and, I've been through worse, I think. So
That's true. That's true. I mean, you did specifically say that she is not the scariest thing you've seen, though you may not know what that is at this moment, which is enough of a statement to say that, like, you've had more fear. This isn't it.
yeah.
And that's a powerful statement. So, yeah. Spigot, mark +1 for Petal.
Done.
Cool. And that will be the session end at the end of this session as well. and we're gonna start this one. But first I need a roll from Grace. It's a cool roll for Petal. Is your visions roll plus cool, and mark an experience, because you get to mark an experience for rolling plus cool, or rolling visions.
Oh, dag.
Yeah, for real. When she picked all the things, I was like, damn.
Power leveling.
I know. I literally get experience point every time. Every
No
time I get a
matter
vision,
what,
I get an
once
experience
per
point. It's
session,
great.
you at least get one experience at a minimum.
I already have 2 experience, boys. And all the points. Yum, 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 yum.
Yum, 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 yum.
I got a... Call me dead the way I be squeezing these points. I've got an 11.
An 11. On a 10 plus, the MC holds 1. MC can spend 1 hold at a moment of transition later. I just have 1 hold. Because I don't have 3, I don't have to spend them now at the start of the session, and I don't think I want to. I'm going to hold on to my things for now. We're going to pick back up exactly where we left off in the graveyard, as we have Spicket, we have Petal, we have Dill. D-Ham is off on his shift working until the evening when he knows he's going to be meeting up with his folks here. It seems like Spicket has developed a plan to head out to check on the crash site between here and the water bearer site. Maybe I will spin the point. Maybe I will spin the point just for a purpose, I guess, of being in this scene. Petal. You space out again within moments of your first vision. This has been a rough day for your brain, I guess.
Perfect.
You spot the front fender of a pretty large boxy truck poking out. Junk. The way that it's dented in, not like a recent damage, but like the damage on this car over time, and the way that it sits in front of you now. Little dings here, a lightly cracked right headlight. There's like little dings in the windows from pebbles hitting it at really fast speeds. Nothing to blur vision, but just a little crack curling the edge of the window. But you see this. Your vision blurs around the lightly cracked windshield of this boxy truck, and as it focuses in, you are moving at incredibly high speeds, scoping out behind you, nodding, knowing that your allies are behind you. A few trucks, a few outfitted vans for raiding. You move very fast across the potholed savanna wastes and come to a stop on an overlooking a low, for lack of a better term, I guess, valley, but it's just really that the hill dips down and into a copse of trees, butting up to a ravine in which you know the river lies. This little copse of trees, you know, this is a safe place to gather fresh, unradiated water. But you and your crew stop here and scope out in front of you, eerily familiar van, along with a couple outfitted but still very finely tuned, very finely cut and pressed defense vehicles on either side of it. They seem to have stopped at this copse of trees, and your vision turns to your allies as you guys are stopped up here on this hill, and you guys back down to the bottom of the hill to lie in wait, and your vision cuts back in, and as you turn back to Spicket just to see if he has recognized like you spacing out for a second, you catch a glimpse again of the water bearer's delivery van, and it kind of sinks in that this is the van from your vision, and you've spotted another vehicle in the dumps.
The second vehicle is a part of my vision, or is this something that we're all seeing?
The second vehicle is visible by all.
Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna keep that information to myself just until we actually leave. Because what am I gonna say? Hey, there's 2 vehicles. Hopefully nobody noticed that I left. And I'm just gonna maybe pull Spigot aside when the opportunity arises. Before we leave, I don't really love what I've seen from Dill thus far, so I'm not gonna disclose my visions.
Not necessarily trusting of the gangly man.
No, I watched him squeeze a battery right up. So yeah, I don't need that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hold my cards to my chest because I don't know these people really at all.
Fair.
But I will plan on talking to Spigot.
I don't know that you've actually seen me do any of my squeezing yet.
They only came up on you sucking the pipe on the engine, so you have a little exhaust around your mouth.
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah,
hell
you were huffing and puffing. So I guess not the battery squeezing,
The
but
crow flying has seen you squeeze a battery, but Grace does not necessarily.
Dill definitely like folds directly in half and wipes his mouth on his overalls, just around belly button level.
I fucking love that. Oh my god.
Gots to be clean.
On the bottom of Dill's overalls, there's a soot stained like smear smile.
ew, wait, where on his overalls?
On the bottom near his belly button. Yeah.
Right across my midriff.
Lower than you want it to be.
Have someone give him a little sooty kiss?
Dill is airtight.
So Spigot, you've got a direction in mind. You know you want to check out the crash site.
I guess I'm gonna see if Dill has anything that's roadworthy that we could take on this adventure.
He does run a junkyard.
Let's see. Dill,
Hmm?
Dill, do you have a moment?
Yes.
I'm going to need your assistance. We're going to need a vehicle of some sort to take us out to find out where my water bearer parts have gone. Can you help us?
Lots of vehicles in the dump. None of them go, though. You need to go.
Yes, we
Follow
do
me.
need to go.
As you say that, Dill has already started moving for sure. No doubt.
No, Dill's already gone. Yeah, no, he's scampered off.
Yeah.
Loped away around a corner, and when I assume that you maybe trot after him.
Yeah, I would follow.
When you round the corner, you see Dill. What's a good thing? He's peeling something back, but I don't just want it to be sheet metal. I want it to be something a little bit like wild that he's peeling back.
It could be a tarp that you have affixed garbage to. When you peel it back, it's very clear that you've affixed a bunch of garbage to the tarp, but this is your garbage tarp that you hide things under.
Garbage tarp.
Just trash stapled to a tarp.
What it is that there is like a bus that has been shifted and rotated in place, and Dill just goes over to the side of it and punches his hands through the top corner and just rips the side of the bus open. And behind it there is, I assume you'd know what a food truck is, right?
Some sort of panel vanish thing.
It's like a full-sized food truck like you would see at a county fair.
Yeah.
What kind of food?
It's like burritos. Is it barbecue? Sushi?
I mean, my instinct was it was a pickles food truck, because then it would be Dill's Pickles.
Pickles is so fucking on the nose that I can't even. Just different flavors of pickles.
Or different pickled things.
Okay, deep fried pickles.
It was a deep fried dickle.
Deep fried
Dickle
pickles.
truck. Dill pickle
Pickle?
truck.
A dickle truck.
Not the dickle
And
truck.
that's our, dare I say, the episode title?
It was called the Dickle Truck, and he has repainted.
So we have the X Dickle truck, which does still have its Dickle decals,
Fuck.
which are a fried pickle, like a full fried pickle, like a banana, with the fried peeled back to reveal a smiling pickle on the inside.
Dickle the Pickle is the mascot.
Dickle's the pickle.
But this excellent and perfect and no notes design
No design.
is horribly marred by all of the thick armor plating and big metal spikes that are just sort of haphazardly, without any sort of thought to aesthetics or symmetry, stuck all over this thing. It's sort of got a Reavers feel for the Firefly fans out there,
Yes.
as far as the placement and just kind of overall design of the modifications that have been made to this excellent Dickle truck.
In my head, Dickle has a monocle.
Pickle with a monocle.
It can, and it does.
Oh,
And
yeah,
buck
it does.
teeth.
And a cane.
Why are you trying to turn Dickle into Mr. Peanut?
I think I'm gonna have to draw a line at the cane. No arms. No arms on Dickle.
How did he put his monocle on if he don't have monocles
No.
or buck teeth either?
Pickles don't have arms. He puts his face right on there.
Pickles don't have arms is your fucking hill to die on with Dickle the Pickle, the mascot? Pickles don't have arms. I'm so sorry. What?
Does Pickle have legs then? How does he get around?
I said like a banana. Yes, no arms, no legs. It's not anthropomorphic. It's just a pickle that's been fried with a face on it. With the fried portion peeled down like a banana, exposing the pickle with the face. Dickle, the pickle. He has been fried.
Desperately need that art.
Oh my
I
God,
need it.
yeah.
And his eyes in some way have to show that he has been fried.
Makes one to
you
know
need to
one,
see
you know?
that
The
in
little
him.
crusties on the eyelids.
fan art. You know, go ham on Dickle the pickle.
Go ham on Dickle the Pickle.
The only other thing really that I can say about this truck is that it's really, really big.
Like an ambulance?
I think ambulance.
I'm picturing ambulance.
I think I'm gonna still stick with then fairground food truck. Have you been to a fair where they have sold fried food out of like a truck that
Oh,
is a
yeah.
whole thing?
They're big.
Anyways, back to our narrative. Dill rips the side of this bus to reveal this truck and gestures towards it, and he's like, "Behold, the Dilgo!" And he stands and he stares at you.
Like,
This will do quite nicely, Dill. This is excellent.
Good. I needed to get rid of it.
does it work?
Wait, you're not coming with us?
Oh no, I will, but it also, I need to get rid of it. It can't be where I live.
Ah, okay. Can we see inside of it?
Shall we go? Is Lawrence around?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, but Decam is not here.
Yeah, D-Ham is not here. D-Cam, that makes more sense as your Chophouse. I don't know why I've said D-Ham. I think that's been a mistake just on my part. Damn.
Oh, is it D-Ham or D-Cam?
Both are correct. There is a C and there's an H.
What is D-Ham's preferred pronunciation of his name?
I don't know, you'll have to ask him.
It sounds like, well, from what I've heard, it's Deluca's Chophouse answering machine. But that's fair. You would have to ask him. At least tell me how your shift is going.
I think it's a little bit of an off night. He's not as focused as he usually is. A lot of things have happened today, and it's sort of like he's got his mind on other things. You know, he's still doing the motions, but he's not as invested in his customers as he usually is.
Why don't you give me a hot roll? It is a checked stat, so you do get to mark an experience for it, but you're at a -1 for your performance this evening. You're just not seducing the crowd.
I'm really not. That's gonna be a 7.
It's an average night for you. You know where you've gone wrong. This is one of those nights where D-Ham goes home and is like, here's the things I can do better. Press 1 to do better tomorrow.
Press 1 to be more invested in the customer's stories.
Exactly. You have a bullet point list to give yourself at the end of the night, but service goes on. The tips aren't as high tonight, but also people are really focused on the alcohol right now, and it doesn't, in the end, once you're doing like fast flow alcohol service, it's $1 per drink, and D-Ham knows this. It isn't a fine dining evening.
The town has been in kind of a stasis for a while, and then Fontaine and the other robot who I called Hutu. Fontaine and Hutu showed up, and it's just the same story every time. New customer comes in, they're like, hey, have you seen that Fontaine and that robot? Decam is like, yep, sure have, I was there. Me too, I was there also, and that's just the whole night.
Maybe what's hard to keep up track of is that you're a little bit more introspective, and a lot of other people are more on a little celebrative side, because now that Fontaine is here, they feel like the problem has been resolved, right?
We're back to a gallon.
We're back to a gallon. There's nothing that could go wrong. This is the solution to our problems.
It's gonna be like this forever.
But yeah. There's a weird seesaw. So you're struggling this evening, but you get off at some point. You work a full 8-hour shift.
Yep, sure do.
Just on the fucking dot. Clock in, clock out, 8 hours. That's it.
The time rolls over to, that specific time that I get off, which is when the sun is in the same place that it always is.
Oh, fuck. Oh, man. I said the evening. There is no evening. I have to go into work. How long is this shift, I should ask you? An 8-hour shift no longer exists. How many second counts is this shift?
I just work until Chaudhry wakes up. That's how long my shift is.
Chaudhry comes back in, pushing open the double doors, groggy, like, all right, we're here to do it again. Because yesterday was hard for Chaudhry. We faded out on Chaudhry ripping a vape in the back room. It was a tough night for Chaudhry. But Chaudhry comes to relieve you at some point.
Don't worry, Chaudhry. The crowd is very even keel.
Okay.
Press 3 to take over the shift.
Chaudhry spends a few more moments smoking his vape and like preparing himself mentally before he says, press 3, and then goes back out.
Response accepted.
You can see as he opens the back door, his whole form like squares up a bit and his face shifts into like that weird smile that you're doing for customer service. And he just like strolls out onto the floor happily.
So D-Ham, he's gonna go to the rear of the Chophouse where everyone goes and hits their vape, and he hops into his mobile workstation, which is a repurposed single passenger electric vehicle. We'll leave the reveal of how I get into it and out of it here in a little bit, but the camera fades out as I pull the fob out of my chest cavity, and then I click and it goes beep beep, and then the camera fades out of me as I get into my mobile workstation car thing. I'll come up with something better. The cab
is honestly really good. If you can come up with
The cab was a good one. Delivery may have to.
the decab.
the D-cab. Okay, hold on. We might have found it.
Delivery Chophouse.
Deluca's Chophouse something bus.
Ass bus.
Ass bus. Yep, that's it.
Ass bus.
Press 3 to put my ass in the bus.
It's their go vehicle. Oh man.
Okay.
Well, D-Ham gets in the D.
Where do you take your ass vehicle?
To the junkyard, of course. What if I just went somewhere else? What if I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go over to my friend, Billem's house.
Yeah, that's why I shouldn't have given you the time for, but that's what my brain was giving you the time for as a just in case, but I shouldn't have.
Nope, I don't have a just in case. I'm going straight there.
Perfect.
This is what's been on my mind this whole time.
So D-Cam arrives to the junkyard to the three of these characters, Spicket, Petal, and Dill, outfitting the vehicle for preparations to leave. You pull up into the junkyard in your vehicle.
I did actually want to make a move as far as outfitting the vehicle, because Dill knows that everyone is counting on him. It's the Dill go, and so he's got to get in there and make sure that he knows what everything's all about up front here. So Dill's gonna make a smart roll to try and just like figure out what's been done up here, if he can sort of parse the mods. I think he knows how to drive it, but just like, what do all the buttons do?
I'm gonna scope out if there is a basic move that this exists as. Read a sitch.
I was thinking that sharp might be appropriate.
Sharp feels like a smarty roll.
Sharp feels appropriate.
I think we need not a read a sitch, but read an item kind of roll. There's a person and a situation.
We can read a person.
Read a room. Read the location.
I'll go with read a situation. The situation is that I don't know what all of the buttons do in here.
That's true. There are some answers actually there's some questions that could be interestingly here.
-1. Here we go. Snake eyes. That is a literal 1.
That's a mark of experience, so congratulations. You get that.
What do the buttons do in here?
You got an Oogie Boogie moment.
Hey, what's the button I should definitely push first?
Here's what I'll give you. You've broken down vehicles, and it seems like the other one has outfitted this vehicle to be driven by themselves. In their time in control, they have done work that makes it easy for them, but changes a little bit of the layout. Let's think. The pedals, there's more pedals.
Oh no, he's done things to my body to drive it better.
There's a keyhole and a button and 2 sticks, and you don't know which one is the original stick nor which one is the new stick. There's 5 pedals, and that no matter what car you've broken down in your time in the junkyard, you've not seen more than 3.
I need to be quieter.
In sitting in this driver's seat, you are more scared than ever that you may not know how to drive this vehicle.
Oh, it's the nightmare scenario. Okay.
Dill says, let me figure out the vehicle. Fuck. You hear from the other side of the vehicle.
Now I really do it. Now I really am in a sitch here. Dill like wilts and sort of withers and gets thin, all bony, and
a very physical display of emotions.
He sort of droops his way out of the front of the Dilgo and kind of sits down in the back and waits for everyone else to be ready.
I think that that's a good time for the decab to roll up on this situation as Dill plops himself into the back of the vehicle. Spicket and Petal, I imagine, hard at work on the sides of it, just doing the various like testing panels, getting food and water into the inside cabinets. As a food truck,
Yep.
even as just a pickle fried food truck, it's got to have refrigeration for the pre-ingredients, and it's got to have, storage for post-ingredients, as well as fryers at some point. It's got the hookups for all this stuff. Is it still outfitted as a food truck? Does it have coolers, dry storage, and a fryer station still?
I'd like it to.
Good.
I don't see why it shouldn't. Yeah, yes. No oil, because Dill drank it all. But the basin and heating element do still exist.
We'll say you need Freon and oil. You need Freon for refrigeration, because you probably drank that.
Wait, frying oil isn't poison. No, Dill does not drink the frying oil.
If Dill were in a necessary moment, do you think he would drink that frying oil as like a
Little pick-me-up.
I mean, at the point in which he gets to it, it's old
you
frying
make a good
oil.
Okay, you know what? You make a good point. Never mind. He probably has drunk it.
It's all gone.
Sip, sip, sip. Make himself a straw.
In a time of need,
As far as the storage goes, there's lots of it because it's a big old food truck.
Are they filled with like his favorite junk pieces?
Here's the thing is he probably wouldn't have squeezed like canned goods. Or like he'd have squeezed one and been like, these aren't good
No
juices.
way. Is it fully stocked food and liquids for humans?
Cans of tuna, beans.
Because Dill doesn't need it. Dill thinks that's nasty.
No, Dill doesn't need or want it. He's just like, meh. But also he doesn't really need the storage, so he left it there.
He stores all the stuff he can't possibly use, i.e. human food, in the bus.
Yeah, he just left it all there. So yeah, no, it's fully stocked with food. Does it say that I could put weapons in it?
It has spikes.
Yeah, weird. It's full of food and guns. Like, it's got just lots
It
of
just
guns.
says it's capacious and spikes and it's loud. Yeah, no, I think it's just food. We're just gonna go food. There is a gun locker. It does not have guns in it.
Schrodinger's gun locker. I mean, it's locked right now.
Schrodinger's gun locker.
Except if the game master will give it to me, I do want there to be the original owner's installed a button that does eject like a tiny little gun, like a wouldn't fit in Dill's hand kind of a gun from the seat
Like the
somewhere.
Derringer.
Yeah, it ejects right out the back.
I will give you that along with a button next to that button, very close to that button, that ejects all your fryer oil out the back like an oil slick. Because why wouldn't there be that?
I do like that. 2 of our buttons are defined.
And they're the same shape and color and directly next to each other.
Oh my god.
For just in case I need that dice roll later.
Yeah, they look like a little pair of eyes or something.
Yeah, exactly. They have googly eyes pushed onto them.
It looks like you're supposed to press them both at once, but you're not. It's like, how are you going to catch the gun if you're pressing the buttons and driving?
It just kind of pops up. You have to be quick. Catch it. But yeah, but this is the scene that Decam rolls up into, is Dill going over all these points in his head. Petal and Spicket outfitting the vehicle, just loading up their waters and their foods into the necessary systems, checking everything needed as well as they can. But Decam, you roll up on this.
Yeah, you guys see the tiny little one-person vehicle start rolling up, and the front windshield is heavily tinted. It starts to honk. And it says, Welcome to Deluca's Chophouse. Can I take your order?
It does. It's a mobile delivery truck? That's insane. A mobile drive-through? I love it.
What kind of weird apocalypse town is this? We have a drive-through?
Press 1 to place your order.
Anything in the Dilgo that looks like it might make a noise in response?
A third button exists next to the other two buttons that is a horn. Same size, same color.
A Dickle the Pickle horn.
When you press it, it says, "It's Dickle. He's here."
Oh,
It's the longest horn I've ever heard of.
Every time.
It's a threat.
I don't press that button. I'm in the back.
Press 2 for I'm bored. Pressing 2. Pressing 2. And the vehicle unfolds. The sides of the vehicle hinge outward, and then the whole top of the cab also hinges, but upward instead of outward. And you see, hanging almost entirely limp in the center of the unfolded vehicle, is the body of DKM. But you also see his head just sort of whizzing around into various areas, looking at the various implements that he has stationed in here. This is a mobile workbench, and the only things that are moving are my hands, which have split off of my body and are on tracks that move around onto the workbench, and my little head that's just sort of flipping around on the top of my body. Otherwise,
What are
corpse.
your hands doing?
They're preparing. My D hands, they're preparing. I've got all my tools in a row.
DM's D hands are
Wait,
prepping.
are you a robot?
They've got all my tools in a row. I am a robot.
Okay,
What?
so you
What did you think I was?
No.
Hold on. When we had a conversation about if robots are humans last session, what did you think we were talking about?
Or like the dishes in my chest cavity.
No.
Or when he
no.
when he said he opened up his chest and put in a plate.
If
What do
you
you
let
think
me
he was doing?
finish, good
I know.
grief.
I just
Let me riff one more time. No, please go in.
Okay, this is a crazy pull-up. Any of y'all seen Corpse Bride?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so you know in the dead world, the severed head runs around on little cockroaches?
Yeah.
That's how I'm picturing it, except that how is the head moving around? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I think in that very same movie, someone's hands come off and play the piano for a minute. So, like, yeah,
The
same
head is
hat.
just rotating on the body. It's suspended by the shoulders, and the rest of the body is immobile.
Okay.
The head is up there at the top of the pinnacle of my body and is looking around at the various implements. The hands are on tracks near the work surface.
DCAM has unfolded himself in front of you.
And then DCAM looks back towards the Dilgo and says, "Press 3 to get this show on the road."
Yeah, okay. Dill sort of droops back into the cockpit of the Dilgo and plonks himself down in the strange and foreign chair, and he's the other one now.
I'm very happy that that's that moment, because I instead was about to point out that I know for a fact we talked about this. I love that. Yeah,
It's the only way out of this situation for Dill.
Dill
He
just
can't
sort of-
drive the car.
just
Look
sort
at
of
all the pedals in there.
slimes backwards, just sort of crumples his body back through the driver's seat and the passenger seat, that little space, and forms in. He presses the third button and it honks the horn. "I'm Dickle, and I'm here. I'm Dickle, and I'm here." Goes off a multiple times as he alerts his companions that it's time to leave. Are you driving separately? I'm questioning before we dip.
So what's gonna happen is first I'm gonna drive the mobile workspace to the front of the Dilgo, and I'm going to cast a Savvy Head move. And one of my hands pops off of the surface and makes its way over into the engine compartment, and just has a good feel around in there. And this is my Things Speak move. I am going to roll a 7, which means
Plus weird.
a 9. I don't know if it matters.
Does not. 7 and 9. Ask one from the list.
What has been done most recently with this or to this? Is this gonna be okay? Are we good to just drive this away? Because I heard a lot of stalking, but I didn't hear a lot of fixing.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I put so many jugs of water in there. Don't even worry about it.
Inside sounds great. Looking forward to that.
I know there's food, but I don't need food. I need a working car. Yeah, no. What's been most recently done to this is the outfitting of the armor on the vehicle. And you, as a mechanic, as a person that works on vehicles, like, you're not gonna fix the armor of a vehicle if it can't drive. There's simply no point. Especially with the 9, like, you don't know how well it runs, but someone that can, even if it looks a little stodgy or garish, it has been affixed to the car in a way that looks defensive. And if someone is going to focus on armor, it must run.
My inspection is complete, and the whole workbench drives to the rear of the vehicle, and then my hands return to my body, and I hop down from my perch. The car folds itself back up, my car, the decap, and then it doesn't have like a tow hitch, probably, this vehicle. So I think what's gonna happen is, because, you know, I've prepared for a lot of situations in this vehicle.
Why wouldn't you have?
You know, this is a multi-purpose vehicle. I'm just gonna like point at the back of the dilgo, and a grappling hook shoots out from the bottom of the workbench and attaches itself to the back of the dilgo.
And the whole thing slides sideways into the back before the wheels readjust. So it's like a, and the wheels readjust to face the right way.
Yeah, I didn't point in the middle.
No, it's off to the side just a bit. If you look at it directly on, you can see vehicle out to the right, but nothing out to the left.
Then I get in.
The team gathers up. Who sits shotgun with Dill?
Not Petal. She gets in the back.
I believe Spicket would want to sit up front.
That tracks the most.
Before he gets in, can I ask, do we know how far, are we just driving out? I just don't know when we're gonna get there, how much time it'll be.
We're going out searching. With everything in calculations, it's about a 12-hour drive, 12 to 18-hour drive. You're looking for the crash site.
Press 1 for comfortable road trip with stops for pee-pee break. Press 2 for we drive through the night with our eyes closed.
Not that one.
2.
I'm gonna vote for that first one.
I was gonna maybe tell Spigot about my vision, but it sounds like I might have time later.
I mean, you also have time now if you want to, like, grab Spigot before you guys get into this van.
Yeah, there's truck time.
Nah, I don't think there's a way to do it without being weird. I'm just gonna get in.
I will say that in the hours leading up to now, there is time to interject that scene in the few hours that you have while renovating the van, right? If you want.
Nah, I actually can't remember. I think Petal probably is gonna sit on it. I think I'm gonna sit on it for a little bit and really give it a good think of what I saw and maybe how to talk about it.
The passenger seat of the Dilgo is beanbag chairs,
Yeah, it sure is.
and it wasn't really intended for more than 2 folks to be in it. So the other seating is like crash seating in an airplane, and like it folds out of the wall.
And that's all in the back. It's like a loose seat belt leading over the top. It's very tight and very uncomfortable to your forms.
And I am sorry to say this, as we are taking off, the one last tag on the Dilgo is loud.
It's loud because we can't figure out how to turn off the music that plays whenever the...
It roars to life. The whole town really hears it as you leave through the gates and out into the wastes towards the...
It's the sound of the song that plays whenever... Here comes Dickle, he's coming to your house. Here comes Dickle, put it in your mouth.
Fuck. Lawrence, you're 100% right. It's not loud because of the vehicle. It's the song that plays echoing.
Truck. Oh god. It's a ice cream truck that got fucked up, so now it just always plays.
Dickle, Dickle the pickle, Dickle the pickle, he's coming for you. He's coming for you. He's Dickle the pickle. He's coming for you.
I have that clean audio line on your own audio track, so that's perfect. No interruptions. That's ideal.
Just over and over again. Just at it.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna regret that forever.
A sort of a little Western hero bit under it, you know? That like dun 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 dun.
That sounds like a hat on a hat. Wait, we should put a hat on his hat.
100%.
Okay, so now, Dickle the pickle now has a cowboy hat on.
And the monocle? Or
It's the only part of the fried skin that remains. Everything else is peeled down, but the cowboy hat is more.
Yeah, the monocle is attached to like the brim of the hat.
It's also fried skin. Oh no!
Dickle is haunting.
I'm toying with the idea of him somehow having little guns, but I think
You could have a belt.
He doesn't have hands. You've been very specific.
He's a pickle. Pickles don't have arms or legs, but
He's wearing both a white and a black
What?
cowboy hat.
Oh my
Got both of
god. Yeah. The Dickle theme song plays
Tickle the pickle, he's coming for you. He'll rob and arrest you. He's Tickle the pickle.
as you guys cut out of the entrance gates and into the wastes. The theme song slowly trailing off into the distance for those in the town. Breathing a sigh of relief, they no longer have to hear Dickle the Pickle, because I imagine also you turn the car on and let it idle for a bit, and so they just heard it blaring at
Dill doesn't, but I can't speak for the other one, but Dill does not.
No, the other one does, because you guys are, this is idling while, like, you slipped in and then slipped into the other one, and then the other one turned it on, right? So as everything is getting attached, as everyone is getting into the vehicle, the song is still blaring. And then you jut out into the waste, the Dickle the Pickle song trailing off for those living in Tedville. Dill actually pulls over the vehicle as the Tedville crests the horizon behind it over a hill. You guys are now out in the Savannah deserts, sand and tumbleweed blowing as the winds do around you, and the car pulls over. Spicket, you can feel it. You can hear it actually being alone in the cab with Dill. The bones like cracking and settling as Dill squats into himself and widens but thins. Like you can see his body go from what makes sense for a very big body next to you into this lanky Muppet form.
I don't even know how to begin to address that.
As the car comes to a stop and his form stops snapping and like cracking, and his arms are a little bit longer and his shoulders closer together than they should in front of him. A little bit uncanny, he turns to you, his mouth wider than it should be, but the vehicle is stopped, and now just Dill is next to you.
We seem to be here.
Dill, where is here?
He gives you big bug eyes, and he leans back away from you, and then he quickly turns and he looks out the window, and he like folds his whole body just out of the open window of the car, just out. Where are we?
It's just sort of Savannah around you. You know that over a hill deep behind you, if you were to recross it, you could see Tedville pretty far away. I would say a couple hours out from Tedville. But as you stand and just like literally camera scan around you, it's just savannas. It's like blasted savannas.
Sounds like we should read a sitch, folks. Dill's sitch is that he apparently needs to drive the car.
Yeah, and I've known Dill for a while because Dill saved me way back in the before time. So this is clearly behavior I've never seen out of Dill before.
Give me a history check.
History. Where would you put history?
No, HX. It's a Dill HX.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a D6 plus your history score.
2d6.
Or 2d6, yeah.
Ooh, that is a 12. So it's a 9 plus 3. Yeah.
12 is the highest it can be. I'll leave it up to the two of you players. I might start it at Theodore if you think that, or at any point would have let Spicket into this fold of the secret. I guess at this point you can even speak for your history with the other one. Has he had history with the other one? He has a 12. He has history with you. At a minimum, he has seen this.
I think with a 12, it should be left up to the player Mike to define this, but to give adequate context for Mike to make a decision, we have Dill, who I am playing, and we have the other one who is a much more hyper-intelligent, urbane kind of a personality. So really it comes down to like if there was any sort of conversing, I suppose, in the history, or perhaps a spark of intelligence, or perhaps you remember the different body shapes, because apparently we do also have like different silhouettes.
Yeah, and I think there may have been a moment where this other one had to come out when Dill rescued Spicket. So Spicket was not fully coherent, but he may have like some foggy memories of this change, but not enough to put his finger on the detail.
Do you remember what the situation was?
in his earlier, before he became a water bearer, he'd gotten into some trouble and was beaten within inches of his life. That's where his jaw got destroyed, and he was in bad shape.
You heard the song, we were coming for you.
You were there when I was stealing my car.
Mm.
The same folks who beat you up, also, I stole their car. Just sort of, hey, by the by.
Dude, you got beat up by the fucking Dickle crew. I cannot even believe it. There's a scene somewhere in the city of a bunch
Damn
of
it.
pickle mascots just kicking the shit out of you, Mike. I'm gonna be real, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but he
Oh,
just
God.
made that real.
Wait, so we should be scared of Dickle.
I'm so regretting that I suggested that it was Dill's pickle truck.
Dude, Dickle came for
I'm
you.
crying over here about a bunch of pickles just kicking the shit out of someone for some reason.
These are the consequences of my own actions. Oh my
There's
god.
actually there's a Dickle the Pickle somewhere, and we're gonna have to fight
The
him.
two-part finale with like a couple villains and a main villain, but now there's 3 of them. Just so you know, Dickle the Pickle is gonna be a boss.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I have no words.
Okay. Anyways, so that's what you remember. There is a chance that the other one could have remembered Spicket, and there could have been some sort of interaction in the cab of the truck during the drive. Dill does not. Dill's here for it, though. Dill will believe you if you tell him that we do have a history. And just be like, oh, when I wasn't around, huh?
I think Spicket's always been nice to Dill because he remembers that he saved him in the desert.
That's also true. Our histories are very interwoven.
Right.
The other one wouldn't have made himself completely known to Spigot. But because of the situation and like the other one saving Spigot, or we still will get to the bottom of that situation, Dill, his form saving Spigot, I think in the return to civility, like from this moment in the wastes to community again, there was moments in which you notice this form shift, and not just a form shift, but you know that there's at least a multiple personality situation in Dill. You have talked and conversed mostly with this like very set-shouldered, tall, human-looking Dill. But since you have been more in civility, it has been this more Muppet, folded over, tall, lanky, weird shape that has not had the personality nor like the friendship that you recognize. In the cab of the truck, there's a connection you feel to Dill before he relanks and like is overtaking the steering wheel, that like you feel connected again. Like you feel that weird connection, and then as he lanks, you're like, ooh, the air got weird.
Oh yeah, he does fit so bad in there.
All of a sudden it feels awkward in here, and it wasn't me, as we all tell ourselves.
Yeah.
What I'll say actually with that as the final point on that 12, you know for sure, square set shoulder Dill can drive. Lanky Dill cannot drive. And in front of you has squeezed out of the window. You heard bones cracking and crunching as he did so. Is lanky Dill folded in half sort of over himself. Is folded in half an apt basic description of lanky Dill? What's the easy like descriptor I can use?
I think he's like a smooth Muppet werewolf kind of a creature. So
Just say Muppet Dill.
yeah, Muppet Dill is good.
Muppet Dill's good. Yeah, we'll fade out on that as Muppet Dill has recollected himself, forming out of the window, bones kind of cracking back into place. Spigot recognizing that this Dill cannot drive, but whatever Dill was in the front seat could. But that's not the Dill you have.
Press 6 to see that every time you close your eyes.
You press 6, but begrudgingly and unwillingly, as we fade to black. But we must fade into history questions because I don't want to forget, and I have my notebook in front of me, so I don't. Let's start at the top. Theodore, who knows Dill better than they did before? And if no one, pick someone to mark negative.
I mean, it's got to be Spicket.
We had this memory for sure. So Spigot mark +1 for Dill.
So that would put Dill at a +4.
Holy shit. I was not expecting it to happen this soon. When you hit +4, reset to +1 and mark XP.
So I go back to 1 and mark XP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, done.
I'll reveal that it's the same from the other direction, but you reset to 0 too. So no matter what, you get an XP for breaching a level of... Like, you realize that you know Dill deeply better than you did before. Next in the order, Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of you guys now know I have this weird car. Who found the weird car most interesting?
The rolling workbench car?
Yeah.
I was most confused by it.
Okay, -1 to Grace
But
then.
then I need more further. I need further clarification, but that might just be me. Oh.
I'm just kidding.
You lose your points this time, Grace.
I'm just gonna spend the whole campaign giving Grace a point and then taking it away.
That's funny, actually.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I'm used to it.
I know you better. I don't know you as well as I think I did. I know you better. I don't know you as well as I think I did.
I think let's give let's give a -1 to Spicket.
-1 to Spigot.
-1, so now you and I are at 0.
0. Okay. Next up in the order, Mike. Pick someone.
Well, Dill and I had our strange bonding moment, whether Dill realizes it or not. Petal and I worked well together. I think the one that learned nothing about me this episode was DM, because he showed up, but I think we had very minimal interaction, so we didn't...
Yep. No, I showed up and I said, "All right, let's go."
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's reciprocal. It makes sense.
It makes the most sense that you learned about Dill, but Dill didn't really, like...
Yeah.
Dill really sort of is off in his own world, accomplishing his own Dill goals.
That puts me and Spicket on my end at a -2.
Ooh, we get to that -3. We get an experience point for how little you know Spigot.
I can't wait to level up for not knowing you.
Yeah, for not knowing my party mates.
Yeah.
Last in the order is Petal.
I don't really think so. I don't.
Found out them negatives.
I do.
Negatives are good too.
Yeah, alas. I mean, I'm a no one. That's literally the thing. No one knows anything about me, not even myself.
I mean, I think it's easy for you to be on either side of the coin, right? It's easy for you to be on the no one learned anything, but on the other side, it's if someone learns something, it's likely everyone learned something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't tell Spigot about my vision, so I hate to pile on, but I think it might also be D-Ham.
Interesting.
Because he rolled up.
Interesting.
last second.
Sorry, I had to work, guys.
I only say interesting because I question if it's towards Spigot because you did not choose to share your personal experiences with him. That's literally just a narrative question, not like a hey, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I could use -1 because I chose not to tell him something, but
We'll figure out, the easiest flow of this.
Yeah, is it enough to diminish your whole relationship with him?
yeah, I mean, because he doesn't. I guess he doesn't know.
True. He doesn't know. He just saw you space out, and then you said, nothing. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think D-Ham is what I'm gonna stick with, just until because I want to stick with my first instinct, because I think if I get too nitpicky about it, then I'll get decision paralysis.
I like that. D-Ham, mark -1 to Petal.
Yep. Currently at a +1.
Next question I should ask if anyone has enough experience to level up. The most person to gain experience, I think, so far is Dill. Dill has gained a couple failures and a couple...
I don't think that's true. I've only got 2 marked on my sheet.
I think there may be a third, but I was questioning on if there was a fourth. So I think there might be a third.
I just have to remember that there are 2 ways to get experience. Checked skills and failure.
That feels safe for me.
Yeah, and I'm at 3. Between last week and this week, I'm at 3.
Cool. Okay, I think it's 5 to level up.
Yeah, it's 5 to level.
And that's every level. It's not like your level -5. It's always just 5 experience to level up. Okay, so we got a couple people at 3, a couple people. I think you 2 are either at 1 or a 2. Level ups in this are not so much as like the things we need to continue, but will give you bonus things. And most of them, I will say, will come from failing rolls. And I am... But I would also request help for you guys to read over those basic rolls and say like, I can roll for this. Like we've noticed Gabe doing this, like, I think there's a moment for a...
Yeah.
this roll. Let's find out what it is. And that leads us to look down the list and figure things out. I love that. Please, please push for that. If I'm not asking for a roll, but you just think that you can get more, I'll give you more if this is a moment you think that is the thing. But sometimes I just don't know what more to give until I know that this is something more that needs to be parsed kind of situation.
Flo Spicket has gathered a team. A robot with a mission, an outsider with a passenger, and a stranger with no home. They journey out into the savannah wastes, the siren song of the pickle truck fading slowly into the distance. This episode was produced and GM'd by M. Williams, featuring Theodore Stringer as Dill, Lawrence Jennings as Deluca's Chophouse answering machine, Mike Harrison as Spicket, and Grace Stringer as Petal. Music composed for this season by Chris Rogich. Additional voiceovers by McKenna Lynch. Other credits can be found in the episode description. That's all for this edition of WPR. I'm Q. See you next time.
Is there anything else you guys do in this brief few hours while you are outfitting the vehicle with the things you need? The water, the food, the stock.
I think that Petal would just go back and get everything she has, which isn't much. Why not have everything? She doesn't know if she's going to be back. So I'm just bringing everything. My face breaker, my brick, all that stuff.
That's my possessions.
My whole small
My whole
bag.
small bag.
I have brass knuckles and a brick. These are mine.